And I have 3 ugly ducklings. Actually, if you look at it, they're impossible. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. I dug up 3 of my 5 black pine, and they really look pretty terrible. But I have to tell you, this is the Arakawa variety. And if I grow it in a few years, the bark will be absolutely fantastic. In fact, a few trees that are growing a little bit bigger, starting to cork and almost like a cork pine. Not quite, but still very good. And I have 3 ugly ducklings. Actually, if you look at it, they're impossible. But let's see what we can do to turn it into 3 decent starter bonsai. And if you follow the video, in a few years you can see, I would say in 5 years it'll be a very, very respectable 3 pine trees. And given time is a little short, there are 3 to do. I'm not going to be bothered to clean off the root ball because I know the roots will look okay. And I'll tell you a little bit about it. I bought these maybe 10 years ago to put in the ground in an area that's really absolutely terrible soil, very clayey, lots of rocks and stuff. But I bought like 20, and about 10 of them survived. It was a very not well maintained, but these are the ones I dug up. So the question is that, what do you do with these ugly duckling? So let me do with this one, randomly choose one, and I work on all 3 of them. So if you look at this tree, you can see, assuming the roots are going to be okay, which I had to clean out the soil by hosing. This is too hard to get rid of the clay. But what you do is you look at a raw material, like a pine tree you get it from a nursery or something. You can see this is an interesting line, assuming the roots are okay, and it's coming up this way. And this branch is going the wrong direction, but look, there's a little bud here. So what you do is that you cut off right there, but save the bud. So what I'll do is I actually cut it a little bit above, like here. So this branch can protect this bud. And then when this bud grows out, it will be going this way and this way. Then I have a branch coming this way. So it's important to pick a bud at the right location. Size of the bud is not important because it will grow large. And the direction isn't terribly important because as it go this way, you can cut it to go this way or even back this way. So with that in mind then, so I would look at this tree and I say, look, this is potentially a branch coming out here, which would be nice. So for sure I have this branch, and maybe not, but you can see this is a nice line, and that this is a nice line. So one possibility is that I can do a tree like this, and then use one of these as an apex to start over again, let's say here. So you have a tree going like this, and these branches go behind. And the other possibility is to make this tree go like this. So you have a tree coming up this way, let's say a little bit this way. So it's coming this way, going up, and then this branch coming down, and this branch going the other direction. You can bend it and worry about it later. So with that in mind then, I think I would do, that's a little too tall for a tree. I'd rather do a smaller one because otherwise the pockets, it takes too long for this trunk to match up to, let's say, a tree of that length. I like the trunk to be this. I gotta put it in the ground for another 10 years. So I think I will probably go with a lower branch, which is this angle, and then cut off this one, or make it into a chin for that matter. So what I'll do is I would, well, in fact, I just leave it alone to give myself some options. But in the meantime, so when you look at this tree, please ignore this piece of it. It will be, I can make it into a chin very easily. And for that matter, there's some, you can see there's some needles coming out of here, right? So if I cut off here, one of these will shoot out to become the needle. So I don't need to cut that off that quickly either. So let me just leave this alone and then cut off this to make it the apex. So this tree will be growing like this, basically coming up like this, coming up like that. I think that's too high. I'd rather use this one. So I'll cut off, here. And cut off here. So this will shoot out to become the apex. And I leave this one here just in case I can use some shoots, lower growth there. And like, notice when I cut off here, I notice there's a little bud. So it's quite likely this will come out. So I think I will also, for the sake of, to demonstrate that I'm never going to use that branch anyway. So let me cut this off to give you the idea. This will be a moderate-sized bonsai. The trunk will be about this size, and with a lot of branching, it looked like a very nice pine tree. So let me do that. So this is actually for the purpose, I would have kept it, but for the sake of this video, I will cut it to show you that not to distract your design, or my design. So that's a tree. So this will come down, easy, and this will come down, and then this will come up. So that's a tree. So you can see this is the apex, and this goes down this way. We can have plenty of effort to manipulate it. Pine trees are very easy to manipulate. It's a very supple curve, but again, you can see the bark is starting to crack, not much, but eventually it'll be a nice tree. So here it is. So it's a 1. So these are actually seedlings I bought. They were about this big, and I planted them about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and in a very poor soil location. So they were really not well taken care of. But you see, when I asked them to dig the tree, the root ball was like this, because they did not understand that this is the root ball. And so because the tree is slanted. So when you dig the tree, you have to be very careful where really the center is, but because this is the soil was covering this, they couldn't see it where the tree begins. Now this tree, I have absolutely no idea what to do with it, because it's just a bunch of sticks. But you know, but if you look at it, it's very healthy. It's got a lot of growth. You know, I think I can cut it off here, and these would develop, and then this can be the lower branch. And hopefully some of these will develop, and this got a lot of candles coming up. So this can be an interesting branch. And this branch is too long and too big relative to this side, where I'm going to cut off here, make these the apex. But notice here, there's a little bud. You see the little bud? So this branch can be saved. And if I cut it off here to save this branch so that it doesn't get bumped, someday this one can be a part of the design. So with that in mind, then let me just get to work. Again, I will cut off much more than I normally do, but it's for this demonstration so that you get a better idea what to do with a tree. It will look like terrible after I'm done with it, but you know, I know what I'm doing, so I wouldn't cut it too close to the bottom because it's very tender. But you can see it's not an unreasonable tree. It could be someday a windswept tree where the tree is slanted and it grows up. And then these trees can be made into whichever direction, and this one can be made it down there. So the point I want to make from this particular tree is that, one, when you dig the tree, make sure where the bottom of the base of the root ball is, so that, or the trunk is, so that you can dig around it to save the relevant roots. These are useless because they'll never fit in a bonsai pot. So this hopeless tree potentially can be quite nice because this is Arakawa, which is a very good material. So we've done 2. This is another ugly duckling, a terrible clay root ball. So what do I do with it? But I see a lot of potential in it. See, when I cut, I leave a long branch so that something may shoot out. In fact, if you look at it, there are little bumps, not so clear, but they may come out to become branches. So the trick is always leave to some green so that it will become a branch later. But that's really too far-fetched. This is a not very interesting, but kind of interesting curve coming up and then do a turn and up. So one possibility is just to, oh, here's another one. See how there's a branch coming out? So I can potentially tilt it a little bit this way or that way. And then this one comes up and that's the apex, you see? And that could be a very interesting curve. And then you build on it. So the clip and grow method basically is equivalent to additive manufacturing. You try to capture a curve, even though it's nothing, just like terrible curve with nothing else. That's your canvas. You build on it from that point on, using your imagination, your vision, and follow the growth of let the nature take over, start to grow the tree like the nature would take over to make all these grow, and then you do the design. So for example, that little bud here, I don't know if you can see it, that tiny little bud, that's a branch. It will come out, so if I want to, I can do a bunjin style, coming out here, and then start to do the work, and here could be interesting, different tree. So in fact, I should just leave this alone, let this feed this trunk, so that, this branch, so that this one would take over to become a branch. So with that in mind then, I really have a lot of option. One here to come up with this way and do this, one that. So in fact, I'll just cut off a little bit and to more or less remind myself of what to do next, but not really work on it at this point, because I don't want to cut this and deprive the opportunity of this one to come out. I think this one could be quite an interesting, lanky, tall tree, you know, with the triangle up here in a little pot. That could be a really nice bunjin style bonsai. I know it's hard for you to visualize this now. Even for me, it's a stretch, but you know, let's see what happens. I will give you an update for these trees. These are so early that I'll probably give an update once a year. In summary, the point is that the clip and grow method is you start with a blank canvas with a basic structure with nothing else on it, and then you add on it in terms of what to fulfill your vision of the tree wants to be. And that's the beauty of it. And you let nature take over, let it grow, and you discover the quote-unquote squirrel in a big tree to do your design. So it's a wonderful, wonderful technique that the result is not every tree looks alike, but every tree is different. So with that in mind, then I'll put all these trees back in the ground, actually. Growing pots, because I can now put in good soil to make them grow pretty rapidly, as rapidly as in the terrible soil, the ground with the terrible soil. So with that in mind, then, I thank you very much for watching my video. Please click like, subscribe to our channel. You encourage me by clicking like, and you also encourage me by subscribing to our channel so that you can participate in our growth of the community. And please send us an email address so that we can notify you of trees when we have bonsai available for sale, probably June, July, August timeframe, and then ship them to you in the Thanksgiving time. So thank you very much. I see you again next week.